Now, in India, pro-Iran protesters carried posters of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and chanted slogans in India's Ladakh region. According to the local media, rally was held under the banner of the Imam Khomeini Memorial Trust. Tehran is seeking to deter US President Donald Trump's repeated threats to intervene on behalf of anti-government protesters. The US has withdrawn some personnel from bases in the Middle East, that's West Asia, after a senior Iranian official said Tehran had warned neighbors it would hit American bases if Washington strikes. Those are visuals from Ladakh in India. And joining me is a guest from Tehran, Professor Foad Izadi. He is an associate professor at the University of Tehran. Thank you so much, Professor Izadi, for joining me. What is the current situation? Is this a major warning sign for the regime to implement reforms?
The current situation is stable. In Tehran for the last 4 nights, we haven't had any riots. The riots started as peaceful demonstrations about 2 weeks ago. We had some merchants who had difficulty with foreign currency fluctuations. The demonstrations were peaceful. The police was taking care of the demonstrators. There was no clash. Everything was okay. Then we had this organized opposition, the monarchists, the supporters of the former Shah of Iran, started doing a regime change operation. This was a joint Israeli venture. The Shah's son visited Israel 2 times in the last year. And this is not the analysis we have here. We had Mike Pompeo, the former CIA director, the former Secretary of State, sending New Year's greetings to Mossad agents. This is a quote from his tweet. Mossad agents walking alongside demonstrators. We had the former defense minister of Israel, Gilad, saying the same thing. Jerusalem Post, many Israeli media outlets gloating about the idea of Mossad operating in Iran. And we even had one Channel 14, Israeli Channel 14 expert saying that they are shooting at the supporters of the government, and they did. This is a true fact. So they were shooting at different people. They wanted to increase the number of people who were killed because Trump had said that he may attack Iran. He will attack Iran if people are killed, and they wanted to encourage Trump to attack Iran again.
Professor Izadi, but there have been sanctions that have been imposed by the United States of America on the one hand, but on the other hand, Trump recently said that the killings in Iran have stopped and they are reviewing plans. Is this a step down when it comes to Iran, because they are not looking at military option right now? Should they look at a military option that could turn quite disastrous for Iran, for America?
Yes, it's going to be disastrous for Iran. It's also going to be disastrous for the United States. Last time in June, when the US attacked Iran, Iran was surprised because the attacks came in the middle of negotiations. And today, no one is going to be surprised. I think the Iranian leaders have decided to hit back hard. I think at least 500 American soldiers will be killed if the US attacks Iran. They have about 50,000 soldiers in this part of the world, 10 bases in the Middle East. And I think all of them, or most of them, will be hit if the US decides to attack Iran. The reason Trump changed his mind was because he realized that the regime change operation failed, and he realized by attacking Iran, the cost to the United States is going to be quite severe.
Right. Professor Izadi, Iran has never been colonized, but is this an existential threat for the regime itself? Is the intention here to break Iran into pieces, balkanization of Iran?
Yes, I think this is the ultimate goal that Israelis and Americans have. They want to balkanize Iran. They want to disintegrate Iran. They want to separate the oil-rich areas of Iran, put a puppet government there, and the other parts of Iran not having access to oil money would become very poor, and the country would end to exist. This is the plan they have. They wanted to reach this goal in June. They failed. They wanted to reach this goal again in the last couple of weeks. They failed. They will continue to fail because although Iranians may have economic difficulties or have disagreements with the government, they like their country. Indians like India, Iranians like Iran. You remember what happened when there was a confrontation between India and Pakistan a few months ago. When a country is in war, there is this rally around the flag effect. This is what happened in Iran in June. This is what happened in Iran in the last couple of weeks. If Americans think they can end a civilization that is 7,000 years old, a country with the history of 249 years wants to end a civilization that is 7,000 years old, that's a foolish idea. It's not going to happen.
Right. Right. Professor Izadi, as an Iranian, what is your message to the world? Will there be a change for the people? Will there be reforms for the valid demands that people are asking, not just economic, but otherwise too?
Since you are in India and since you talked about colonization, it is true that Iran was never an official colony of the British or other powers. And this fact resulted in people having a sense of independence with countries that were colonized. There was a sense of solidarity with other nations that were colonized. And there is this spirit of resistance, this culture of resistance in Iran against the former colonizers that are using 21st century tools to basically do what they did in 19th century. And there are difficulties in Iran, like many other countries, but the people realize that these difficulties can be resolved with internal resources. Intervention of former colonizers is not going to help any country, especially Iran. Israelis just finished engaging in a genocide in Gaza. They have no respect for human rights. Everybody understands that their policy towards Iran is to weaken Iran, to disintegrate Iran. The United States wants to dominate this part of the world, and they're going to fail because Iran is not going to be available for regime change.
Professor Izadi, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global.